The engine is starting up. 3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, travelers and those alike. The show has begun. Welcome to the Orion Effect right here on the R.I.F.T Nation Network, where we surf the cosmos with such special tenderness, with giving you keys to your mind upstairs. It's going to be an interesting show tonight. I am the quintessential cosmic surfer himself, the Hitman.
And I am Rhonda. And actually, it says you're me.
What? Oh my goodness. You know, okay. The show's going to go on. I've got two backups. I don't care what's going to happen. I'm going to fix that in just a second. I know how to fix that now too. Well, I did. Yes, I know how to fix that real quick. I noticed that it glitched. Let us fix this by the professor of the Nesta. We're going to hook that up right now. I am the Hitman in the house. It wants to give me a capital I. That's not right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, if you need a capital I tonight, you need a capital I tonight.
Hey, if that's what's needed, I found out how to fix the jinx. Let me tell you what, I learned some stuff since last weekend. We're
I
good.
bet.
We're good. We found that Restream is glitching between platforms. Facebook, naturally, Facebook giving the problem. Yeah, I called you out. And so Susan and I dug really deep into trying to find out everything of what is going on. We found the hyperlink issue. We found connection issue. I'm having somewhat connection, Rhonda. So with the Wi-Fi for some reason, I don't know why.
Well, I know we're having it here because of the wind.
Okay. Well, I can go right on straight air if need be. This laptop is satellite based, baby. So don't worry. If I go away, I will be back.
All right, all right.
We have a great show lined up tonight.
Yeah.
Rhonda, I'm going to hand it over to you, my dear. It's all yours.
All righty. Hello to Michelle Klecker Caps, Ryan Jones, Ashley Herndon, Renee Cody, Michelle Wilfong, Heidi Gall, Mort Ali.
We have a new traveler in the
we
house.
do. Hello.
Now,
Good to see you.
it is good, and he's coming off YouTube. So, Mort, welcome to the show, and hopefully you'll be a new traveler. We love to have new people joining our journey.
Yes, we do.
So we have a really special guest, as we always do. We have some really unique and special people. We really do.
Yeah, we do.
Look out! Look who's in the house! What? Over in the house?
Nice. Keith
Thank you,
Ottersberg.
brother. We have Miss Kat Ward from UPRN with her magnificent show, Paranormal Heart. She'll be joining us in just a few minutes. This is a time we chit-chat, go over things, and, look at the craziness. And it's been crazy. The weather's going to get crazier, you guys, especially if you're in the East Coast. You've been keeping an eye on that, Rhonda?
I'm about over that. This one's going to be nasty, though, like nastier than the others. So
that's what they're saying. So East Coast.
I have a friend who works for Dominion Energy, and they were putting out the call out at the end of last week to other localities saying we might need help. So that tells you a lot. They have their own meteorologists. So.
Right. Wow. Well, good. Then I do. Yeah.
I'd be okay with a miss. But it sounds like we're going to get a half a foot to a foot of snow here.
We could get some shit.
I prefer to call, well, that's right. We put the disclaimer. I prefer to call it fuckery, but.
Oh, well, the disclaimer's out there, folks. And yeah, she can use the F-bomb. I need Renee to send me that. We got to trade. I got to get her hat. So I need my F-bomb. Yes. The F-bomb.
Yeah,
and,
we were feeling the wind here too, Dover. I actually paranormal investigated last night. So I slept in and I was awoken by a tornado warning at 10:15 this morning.
Oh my. Oh. Is that what my phone was doing?
Well, I
would have been screwed.
I was like, woke up, I was like, please be an Amber Alert. And I saw it. I was like, oh Lord, let me get out of bed.
I like the band Toto and all that, but man, seriously, I don't want to,
I don't need to be Toto.
Yeah, no. Do not. Toto. No. But yeah, it's been really rough here in Virginia and on the East Coast. The western part of the state is flooded, literally flooded. The Roanoke River and all that is crusting as we speak. I have friends over in the Salem Paranormal. Carla and her husband were talking to me. Sarah was sending me videos from the hospital. Scary times. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Yes, and hello. So we yesterday we went to the punk flea market. my new ritual because I don't really care for the odd and oddities.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like the energy. I don't like the crowd. But I went the first time a couple months ago to the Punk Flea, and I was like, I loved it. I loved it.
Mhm.
This time I went yesterday, and my daughter went with me, and we went in, and the guy at the desk goes, I remember you. I was like, let me take a guess. That's right, it's the hat.
I was getting ready
Okay.
to say, let me
Yeah.
guess, you came with the hat.
Of course. So Ariana was like, what the world? I'm like, just get used to it. Every other table we went to, they were like, I remember you. But in hindsight, I made a lot of friends the first time, and a
Yeah,
lot
you
of them
did.
were there this time. And I was really thankful to spend 2 hours there. It wasn't a very large hall, but that doesn't mean the event wasn't large. And
Right.
very special people. I loved the energy. It was a little overwhelming from her. She had to walk outside several times. She was getting a headache. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can understand it. Hey, Paul,
Well,
welcome.
How often is it that they do that? Is it once every 3 months or once every other month? They seem to do it pretty regularly.
It was my understanding it only started out was supposed to only be twice a year, but this time compared to the last time, this time was a much better turnout. So they are thinking about coming out here to Richmond a lot more
Okay.
because they are getting a really great crowd response. And they were doing the food well. They would have done the food truck corral. Yeah,
Yeah, they definitely have the space for it, for sure.
yeah, but unfortunately the weather did not permit. They still had the food trucks out there, but it just didn't work. So, it is what it is.
Every time I've wanted to check it out the last 2 times, and every time I've had something in the evening that it's like I just need to maintain my energy. And I know I'm like your daughter. Things like that can zap me. So hopefully I catch it soon.
Absolutely. A lot of other great events are coming to Richmond and the Virginia area too. So keep your eyes out. If you're local, if you're not, check out your local listings. Go to these events, these vendors. It's amazing what you can get. So you don't have to worry about going online. You don't have to worry about, these big commercials. Support your local vendor. Time for the hit list. That's right. Give a shout outs to Robert White over at Things Network, Danielle Long, Nick Mule, Things Network, Michelle Clicker is here in the house already. She's here.
Yeah, she's always with us.
Always. Also, one of our new travelers, Naive Kite from Australia, or Heike, sorry. Also, Jason Stevens, Devon Connections, Avalon the Siren, and Saint Germain. They were supposed to be scheduled for last week. We were rescheduled. Wonderful, amazing people. Once they get on, you will see why we're so excited for them. Heidi Gould, she's in the house. Bang, bang. Lois Clark, Michelle Plummer, Cindy Waghorn. Do you remember this one? Scad Oscasile?
Vaguely.
Yes.
Vaguely.
Ashley Herden, which I know she's on her YouTube. Linda Nelson, and to our staff, Ryan's on, Renee's on, Keith Ottersberg is on, Susan, Joni. Check out all these wonderful shows that we have throughout the network. It's amazing. Now, we also have some special news that we'll be giving to you. Emily's in the house. What?
Emily from Lost Souls Paranormal. Shout out.
JV! Look who's here. JV is in the house.
Hello, hello.
Loving the crew. Our special shout out to our affiliates over at Midwest Paranormal. That's Paranormal Soup. Get your cup of Paranormal Soup tonight at 11 p.m. with Jason Blaine and the crew. Our friends over at the UPRN. Now, friends, family.
They're
Our
family.
UPRN. Our family over at the Things Network. Also to Wicked Women. Shout out to KB Castle at the Roadside. Eternal Spirit Online, another addition to our family, Jennifer Rose and her crew there. And to the Paranormal Network, thank you all so for much. We have a hell of a lineup for y'all the next couple months. I'm going to read these out so y'all can see the heads up. What is up, Paul? Good to see you, brother, man. So starting next week, we've got Les Durant. That's right, the man from the radio, legit radio. The UFO man himself flying in from wherever he's coming in. He'll be here. The next following Sunday, we've got Lorelai and Jeff.
Yes, Lorelai.
From Booze Para. Can't wait for them. Wonderful couple. And we are actually going to do some live ghost boxing that night, the first time here. Following that will be part 2 with Michelle Wilfong. I know Michelle's here. We'll have that part 2. And attentively, I have to say this, coming March 23rd, the gentleman from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Andy Andrews, is scheduled to join us. And then we have a special show March 30th. We're going, we are going to all the way to Montauk. We're going to Montauk, folks. One of the gentlemen who survived the Montauk experiment, Chris Lauderer, will be joining us and talk about his experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
In April 6th will be Nick Mule from Things Network.
Nice.
April 13th, Jeremy York, the creator of Things Network, joining us, our family. And the 20th, look, we're celebrating Things Network. Our brother from down under from another mother, Robert White, will be joining us.
Yay!
Getting this going. Look at that.
Yes, I'm excited.
So, with that being said, I think we have something special. Don't you, Ron? I think we got something special lined up for you right now.
Yes, we do.
Doctor, would you like to introduce?
Absolutely. Travelers, buckle up, because tonight we welcome a powerhouse in the paranormal world. She's the host of Paranormal Heart, a podcast where she dives deep into chilling encounters, mysterious phenomena, and the unexplained. With over 150 episodes under her belt, she's given a platform to those with incredible stories, making waves in the supernatural community. A true investigator of the unknown and a voice for those who've experienced the extraordinary. Please welcome the one and only Kat Ward.
Hello, Kat, and welcome to the show.
Hello, my loves. How are you all doing?
Good. So excited to have you.
It's nice to meet you, and it's nice to see you again.
I'm just messing with y'all. Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It was absolutely thankful that you had the time to join us. That's really what I wanted to say. It just wasn't coming out. It wasn't in the words, and the words were just not flowing properly. But that's okay.
Blah,
That's
blah.
okay. Blah, blah. We are all here together. We are family. Okay. Everybody, welcome. If you're new to the Orion Effect, we thank you. And this is Kat. This is your first time on our show, and we're so thankful.
It is. So am I.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we already got hellos and meows. Look at that. Meow, meow, Kat in the house.
My sister JV Noseworthy, also from UPRN. Hello.
Woof, what?
Yeah, I see a bunch of people that I know and some people that I haven't met yet. So hello. Thank you, everybody, for being in the chat.
Absolutely. And hello, travelers. And hopefully some of you, those alike, will come and start participating in the traveler's journeys here and you become a traveler. Pete, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us. It's going to be interesting. Now, For some of you who are not familiar with this format, it's just like sitting down with coffee. We just chit chat, we talk about shop stuff. But we also, as you can see on the right side of the screen, you are a part of the show. You are not forgotten, and we will acknowledge every one of your comments. So know that you are a part of the show. You too are the host and hostess. So welcome. Oh, hello. Look at that. Greetings from Pete versus Anxiety Podcast. What in the house?
Yeah,
Look at
another
that.
podcast for y'all to check out.
Like
Yeah.
it. Yes, check it out. Check it out. Anxiety Podcast. And I know Pete is, and he has a wonderful podcast. I watched it the other night. Right on target. What they talked about was magnificent. Z in the house, Kevin.
You crack me up.
So let's kick this pig, shall we? Let's do
Let's
this.
do it.
So we have to do a proper introduction for Kat, I feel. No, I'm not going to do it. Flashback. It's okay. It's okay. But a proper introduction for our lady. Oh, we are in full control. Julie! Hello, Miss Julie. Good to see you again. So I'm going to try to restrain myself. Rhonda, I'm going to let you
I don't
jump in.
believe it. I don't
I know.
believe it.
I
Mm-mm.
don't believe it.
I don't either.
That's going to happen. I got my coffee. I'm going to bounce off.
That
the
explains
squirrel.
everything.
So I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump in real quick. Let's get into the hot water. I'm not even going to put my toe in. I'm going to jump in. Why do podcasting, Kat? Why are you podcasting? Why did you choose to do this?
Well, I started out as a paranormal investigator here in the Ottawa Valley in Ontario, Canada. And I started noticing that most of our clients, a lot of them would have like a PTSD effect from what they're experiencing in their homes, because sometimes their significant other wouldn't believe them because they didn't experience that either. So they started questioning their sanity, and they were just like, what is going on? So we would go in, and you could just see the relief once we told them what we would find in their home. And then the significant other would be like, oh, well, like, I really didn't believe you type thing. And it just brought relief. I mean, we've seen families that were split because of the tension and the stress and anxiety from having paranormal encounters in their own home. And I started to, I was a guest on a podcast. I think my very first one was called Odd to Newfoundland with John Mallard. Shout out to my brother, John. So, and I did a couple of others as well after that. And then people started saying, well, you should have your own podcast. And my reply was always, hell no. Hell no. So I mentioned that to my husband, and he's like, well, why not? I'm like, well, that's because some other people do that, not me. And I started thinking about it, and it just gives a safe space for people who have had encounters to be able to either talk about it themselves, or they know other people around the world are having these same experiences and they're not alone. And I'm not going to judge. I just want them to talk about their experiences. And it just helps so many people. And the paranormal is just so intriguing because it doesn't matter where you are on this beautiful globe of ours, what religion you are, what culture you are, what color you are. Everyone's having these paranormal experiences, and it's been going on for generations and generations. The certain creatures might be called something different, but they're pretty much the same creature. So like I said, I just wanted to have a platform where people could actually listen and know that they're not alone.
Right? Not alone. And we saw that for so long, didn't we?
Yeah, a long time. I find, well, even growing up, I was the weird girl that liked ghosts, but I still am. I don't care. But there was a long time that you couldn't really talk about it without people looking at you like you had three heads, and they just kind of like, okay, that person is really weird. And the more there'd be TV shows, and yes, we know it's for entertainment purposes only for all these TV shows, and then podcasts started popping up, and people are starting to realize, like I said, they're not alone.
Mhm.
And it's just an eye opener for a lot of people. Like, for example, when I was a kid, my very first paranormal encounter was with a hat man, but he was the short one. He was about 4 feet tall. And I would have night terrors. And we lived on the top story of a 3-story apartment building on the East Coast in a province called New Brunswick. Very, very old building. At one point, it was heated by a coal furnace in the basement. So it's like a really, really old building. So nobody else had experienced that, and I went my entire adult life not talking about it really because I thought I was the only one. And but he never left my mind. He was kind of haunting my mind, I guess, because I wanted to know who he is and what was he doing there? Why was he there? So I was listening to a podcast many years ago with now I was a fan, and now we've become family. Justin Cancelleri and Eric Skerback.
Oh yeah.
Paratruth. Yep. Love
Yeah.
those guys. They had a guest on there talking about the Hat Man, and I thought somebody else has actually seen this guy. So I have been on the other end of watching a show going, oh my God, other people see this. But it was mainly the tall person, the tall hat man. So I had messaged the show and said, hey, love your show. This is before we became friends. And told them about my experience. And Justin sent me a link. I can't find it anymore, but there was somebody on YouTube had done a reenactment. Hi, Al. Sorry. Someone had done a reenactment on YouTube of the Hat Man that he saw as a child, with the bolero hat, and the cloak and everything. And as soon as he dimmed the lights for a split second, the childhood fear came back because it was exactly what I saw as a child. Identical. I could not
Please don't
believe.
say you're talking about the child collector from. Oh my God, that dude scared the crap out of me.
No, he never took notice of me. He would just kind of be wandering. I don't know what he was looking for in my room, but I was always so terrified. And I found out later on I had a couple of very talented psychic friends, and I asked them, it's like, do you have any sensation, any feeling, any insight on what it was that I experienced? And they said it was a guardian for me. So I thought that was interesting. I was afraid of my guardian.
Don't you love the twist? What we learned, we have to relearn.
Yeah. It's interesting that things that gave us so much fear were actually things sometimes that were there to help us. But being so young, we didn't know, as well as our generations, our parents were like, you don't see anything in your room. There's nobody in your closet. They weren't open to it. So now it's just fascinating to me. I think we're going to have such an interesting group of children coming up now with people so open.
Because they're more open, yeah. I have to tell you, go ahead.
No, I just want to bring something to the table real quick before it gets lost, because that was a brilliant observation, Rhonda, and that brings something else to the table that I wanted to talk about, and then we're going to continue that conversation. Let's go back to her and talk about our parents real quick, because that's the real beginning, right? All of our parents. This led us to all of us doing what we're doing now. Okay, yet it be podcasting, paranormal researching, yeah, right, looking underneath the bed, right, spiritual work, whatever. What do you think the possibilities? And Rhonda, I know how you are because you were half and half. When my family was like, totally. So I'm not sure, Kat, how your parents were, but how many of you think that our parents actually saw or were experiencing what we were doing as a kid, and they were just trying to say, no, it doesn't exist, because they're trying to calm the child, when in fact, maybe we should have been like, oh, you see it too, huh? What do you think about that? I mean, it's interesting. I wonder if our parents experienced what we were seeing, or is it that we got to the age of 7 to 12 and we built that society blocker? It's an idea.
Well, for me, so I grew up French Roman Catholic, and so my
Whoa.
mom would, yeah, my mother would have the prayer beads every day. Very, very religious. Went to church a lot as a kid, but I was always more spiritual than anything. I believe in God. I believe, all that, but it's just I'm more spiritual. Um, but my mother, she had abilities. So I have a few cousins as well, but they only found out later on in life as an adult that other family members did too, which was pretty cool. But my mother, when she was younger, she could communicate with her grandfather without them even being in the same building. And she thought everybody could do it, and she started talking about it to the other kids, and then she realized, "Oh, it's just me. Okay, nothing to see here," And my father never really believed in the paranormal, but my mother and I, it used to really irritate my father. I'll be watching TV, and all of a sudden my mom would be like, "Did you?" I'm like, "Yep." And then my dad's like, "Did you what? What?" Like we just had to say a couple of words, and we already knew what the other person was gonna say, and we'd have, like, a brief word like, couple of words to answer the question, and that was
Yeah.
it. And then my dad started realizing, "Okay, maybe they do have some abilities." Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
for
men,
that was easy for me.
women were more intuitive than men by any means. Not as much now. I think the next generations are actually getting in touch with that intuition, where prior, no crying or, toughen up, boy, or whatever, they closed that intuition off. They had to be the men. Hey, Sue. So it's interesting now to look again, spotlighting our past to where the way we are and where is the future going to be. I love what Pete said. Pete said, I wonder if we can apply the same thought about kids and their imaginary friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very good,
Absolutely.
sir. I mean, I like that a lot.
I
I
think
think
so.
I was gonna say, I think our parents too, they might have seen things, but I feel like so many of our parents grew up in such a different time. They had other things to be fearful of, or that they were fearful of. Like some of them grew up in the Depression and they grew up without a lot of money. So they had other fears, I think, other than spirits in their bedroom or under their bed or things like that. Or even maybe more so, their parents really had no time for that nonsense. They were just struggling to get by. So it's really interesting.
That's a good point because maybe they didn't. Okay, you're right. Maybe they didn't have the time to actually consider it. That's a valid point.
That's good. Yeah. They just didn't notice.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Kevin. Oh my God, yes, Gen Z is always crying at work. Wait, I'm not doing the generation thing. I'm gonna be real good about that. However, again, this generation is a lot more sensitive than pre-existing generations. That I can agree with.
Yes.
That is fact. That is fact. Um, so I will go with that there. My parents were different than most parents, and I often wonder, and Rhonda, I'll point this at you. I often wonder if that's why my mother was an alcoholic.
Oh yeah.
I often wonder if she used that to suppress the intuitive cognitive thought that she had the ability seeing who her mother was. So I know another family member now, if you will, uses alcohol to suppress their interaction.
Mhm.
So maybe that's why there was a lot more drinking back then too.
I have a family member years and years ago before all the social media, it was just Messenger. I can't remember. I used to play backgammon on there, but I used to chat a lot with one of my family members because I have my mom's from a family of 13 kids. So I have a lot of cousins. Yeah.
So we were big.
And I have no siblings. My mom wasn't able to have more after me, but so I'm from a large family, and I was always chatting with one of my cousins, and he said one day that he thinks he sees ghosts, and he thought that I was going to laugh at him. And I'm like, you're not the only one in the family. He's like, wait, what? and 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 he admitted at one point that that's why he drank so much, is because he just didn't want to see it. He didn't want to acknowledge it, and it was really bothering him. And I said, yeah, it's in the family. You are gifted. Depends how you look at it. He didn't want it. But after that, he's like, oh, and then he realized he wasn't alone in the family.
See. Hey, Alfred, what's going on, man? I asked in the beginning what got you into podcasting, and now you're all finding out what. That was my magic. I brought it forward and did a steer girl. What up, Brian? So it's magical because we always hear a lot of bad things about the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are again talking about beautiful things, waking ourselves up, bringing us forward. I think this is what more people need.
Mhm.
They need to hear this more. They need to understand that there's people out there that are good at what we do, and we all have a little something unique. Now, like Rhonda and I are different. We read different. We talk different. We have different parts to play. However, there is that puzzle piece of the puzzle piece coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when people start to understand that we have something to offer to help others, you're right. I love what you said. You got into it to help people.
Yep. And it's just, I haven't done investigations in a while. COVID kind of put a kibosh on that. Can I say that word? Sorry.
Absolutely. Well,
Okay.
not supposed to, but it's too late now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done.
And then just with my work schedule, I can't seem to coordinate with the team, so I haven't been out in a long time. But it was always so. There was this one case that we had where they were sure it was something evil in their house. They had a little girl, I want to say 2, 3, 4 years old. They were pushed down the stairs. The little girl was being knocked over. Her toys were being played with. And when we got there and did the investigation, it dawned on me. I looked at the people and I said, when you get pushed down the stairs, where do you feel it on your body? And they told me. And I said, what about a dog? When a dog goes past you in the stairs and bumps you? And the dog was playing ball with the little girl. And once they realized that, oh, it's not demonic, the husband just went, he was so relieved. Because when we entered, like all of us on the team have some abilities, and none of us sensed anything malicious.
Yeah.
So, you do a little investigation, do poking and prodding here and there, and then it's like, yeah. And then we found out because one of the team members, we call her our historian because she'll look into the history of the building. And apparently there had been a fire and a woman and a dog sadly perished in the fire. So it was the dog. So that was pretty cool.
Confirmation. That's that's one of the things I have to say I enjoy about it is when I get confirmation of research or something that Rhonda has brought up, or on our team, Shelly, or Kristen, or one of our team members that are intuitive in that side brings to us, and we can conglomerate and go, pow, there it is. Now we have a connection. Yep. Rhonda, what's that like for you when that happens, by the way?
Well, I mean, I think anybody who's sensitive and uses that on investigations or actually anywhere, we always love to feel like we know. I don't ever second guess what I'm hearing, feeling, or sensing, ever.
I do.
Well, I mean, you do, but there's something beautiful to it when it's something else confirms what you're feeling. It could be just a device going off in a corner that you said, I feel like there's something that way. And they put a music box there and that music box plays. That just makes you feel like, okay. I'm not imagining that I'm doing this, So I mean, it's just to me, it's no different than having two pieces of equipment sitting next to each other that are totally different, and they both go off at the same time. If I pick up on something and something confirms that, it's the same feeling.
It's exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting. It's, shit just comes out of nowhere and goes right in my head, and I got to go, bleh. So I'm going to bleh. This is for both of you guys. How often have you ever thought or maybe seen other people who feel like they have ability or they portray themselves to have ability? I'm being good.
That's a first.
Where maybe the equipment be leading an individual to a conclusion, not just paranormal, but into a mediumship or psychic realm? Could that be leading them? Why do I feel like I look like the child collector from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
So you're saying they're using what's happening with the equipment to say this is what I'm getting.
Yeah. How
Or-
often Go
Or
ahead.
the person doesn't have any abilities at all, but the piece of equipment is kind of using them as another piece of equipment, I guess.
I didn't say that.
I think that happens.
It's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love podcasting about. It's freedom of speech and freedom to talk. Thank you, Al. Is being able to chat with others, opening that discussion.
You're brainstorming with everybody.
Yeah, it's still a think tank, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like, again, we're drinking coffee or whatever your beverage might be. Wink, wink. We know it's after 6 o'clock. Drink it up. However, that's what we do, and everybody that's here in chat and has their opinions, good or bad, and we can all discuss these things and come to our own personal deduction and conclusion based off these things. That's why I love this.
Yeah. I actually had something recently that made me question what you just said, because, even though I am sensitive, I am all about let's try some things to make sure, especially some of the pieces of equipment that are old school, like dowsing rods, because I know things like pendulum, they do speak to your higher self. So sometimes I wonder when we're using them for investigations, is it me? Is it a spirit? So recently we had someone doing dowsing rods. We were getting responses left and right, and we put a blindfold on them and asked questions.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Paul.
No. And nothing, and literally the rods moved to one spot and then never moved again. Now, one could deduce from that yep, dowsing rods are BS. But my first thing was, no. Is it that we are channeling more when we're using them than we think we are? Maybe it's not so much the spirit going, let me move them for you. It's that they're channeling through you. So I would say we've got to do a whole bunch more testing before we have anything. But honestly, that was not what I expected to occur. So I have that myself made me go, are we channeling more than we think we are? And people who don't think they have abilities are actually channeling when they're moving abilities.
Oh, what a beautiful point. I have not thought about either. Wow. You say that's 2 in a row on me tonight.
Going on a lack of sleep does me well.
I also feel that when people use, I'm sorry, my dog keeps coming in and out and just plows through the door.
It's okay.
Hey, I'm here.
I can relate.
When people use crystal balls or anything like that to help with their psychic abilities, I've always thought that if you feel a spoon is going to help you focus, it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's just whatever you feel connected to. So it doesn't matter if it's a crystal ball or dowsing rods, whatever. I just find if you feel connection and it allows you to focus, because you're looking at that that thing that you're holding in your hand. And like I said, it's just gathers your thoughts into one spot, so you're not necessarily thinking of everything else around you.
Valid points. Kind of making us the divination tool.
Yeah.
And you know, that
It's
kind
like,
of
I
makes
wonder
sense.
sometimes if we really are more than we realize, especially when we're doing like public events and these people are coming and they don't know if they have abilities or not. They don't even know if there's spirits or not. They're just there. And we hand
Yeah.
them a pair of dowsing rods and it works. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not moving it. Well, maybe they aren't, but maybe they're actually channeling and they're sensitive and they don't know it. I mean, I think I would have to we're going to have to do a million more tests with this to figure it out. But,
Definitely, yeah.
or even if we do, but it just made me ponder my own thoughts and my own questions about is something real or not,
And that's beautiful. I think that is beautiful. When we're still in the ability to question ourselves, I think that is a remarkable point in who we are, because that means we know we are checking ourselves still. I mean, valid point. I like what Pete said here. Pete said, I have a hypersensitivity to energy around me, and energy and people give off good or bad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we can be affected by other people's energy by all means.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
and sometimes you can bring that energy home, good or bad. You could be at the grocery store and you walk by somebody who's really having a good day, and you're picking up on that good energy, or the opposite as well. Somebody could be having a really bad day and just negative energy, and you brush by them in the aisles, and then you bring in that home too, and then you can feel that heaviness in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrea says, or even those who read a lot or follow shows and teams. Like way she just said that. Thank you for saying that, by the way, Andrea. Follow shows or teams, don't have the experience or abilities, yet come to the investigation thinking they know it all. I find this an issue with who my team has interacted with at times. Wow. Okay. You know
Thanks,
what?
Andrea. She's a good friend.
And you know what? Peter, fact. Boom. Fact. Right there. I love that. We're catching up now. Renee, where did you go? All right. Bam. Objective sometimes just help flex your metaphysical muscle.
Yeah, it just turns off the side of you, that logical side of your brain, to have something else to focus on. It really does help.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, here's one for you too. Andrea says, what are your thoughts on glass moving? Now, I'm going to ask, is that a metaphysical term, or are we talking about the actual glass moving? Because I can go scientific on that. But I'm going to let you two dive in case it's a metaphysical. And then we'll get back to it. Hey, Rob. Brother's in the house. Another frog brother.
I've never actually seen glass moving or anything like that. No, I've never seen it.
That's what I was wondering. Was she meaning like glass actually like move?
Warping?
Or like a glass, like telekinesis move?
I think that's what she means.
Glass is always flowing.
Yes, it is. Good point. Andrea, can you define that? Are you talking about warping, or are you talking about is it on the table, a glass, like a glass cup? Just define that for us. John, and welcome to the show, by the way, John. And he's exactly right. And I can get into details about that if need be, but I love that. Blew my mind. They can hear your thoughts.
As a tool.
Thanks, Andrea.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's interesting. Is that something you've used with your team, Andrea? I don't really know much
either. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, it intrigues me.
It might be something I want to try.
Yeah. I have had so do you know what amateur radio is? Ham radio? Mm-hmm. My dad is a ham. I got my license years ago, but I haven't been using it for many, many years. And I started a little Morse key collection. So I actually brought a Morse keyer with me on some investigations, because I heard that sometimes they will send Morse, but I have not had any success yet. I keep hoping, But that's another tool that I like to use on investigations.
She
Okay.
just said table moving on a table with 4 people using it. Yes, I think we call it table tipping.
Oh,
We
okay.
do use-
Okay.
I have used that quite a bit in the last year.
I've
Yeah.
never witnessed it, and I've never done it.
Oh, I love
But I
it.
want
I
to.
love it.
I know Al has seen it and witnessed it. Al Santariga. Yeah.
Before I get into Alfred's, I can say I have seen glass warping. So if that is what she was referring to, it is when the glass will actually vibrate at such a particular frequency that it actually will warp. I have seen warping at 2 different locations. I could not hear the sound. I could not hear any vibration, but I did see the glass. And like John said, glass, depending on the vibration, it still flows.
That would make
It still
sense.
flows. So I totally agree with John on that one. Alfred dropped in and said, I recently used a quartz crystal pendulum attached to a tripod and asked the spirit to move it. Telepathy, and they did. Blew my mind.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's what I love that. I love that. And I'm going to tell you why. When you can get action without connection,
Yes.
and they have the ability to move that bad boy or whatever without conduitive action,
Yes.
it takes away and debunks the possibility of issues that one could say you caused. I
Yeah.
love that.
I love
Um,
people who don't really believe in the paranormal, and they tell me, "How can you feel energy? You can't feel energy in the paranormal." And I always tell them, "Have you ever been close to an electric fence?" And they're like, "Yeah." I said, "The closer you get, do you not feel the energy?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Same
Right.
concept." And then they're just like, "Really?" It's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, what about going into Walmart and you could walk out and you feel like crap? You know, come on, people. That's not because you're moved. That's because the people,
It's the 2 people-y.
yeah, inside are putting off energy,
Yeah.
and you're capturing it. Sean drops in and says, "Our theories change all the time as we grow and learn. The way we think will bend and form around our experiences." Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Let's see. We already talk about that one? Table tipping.
Yeah.
Table moving is called table tipping, started with spiritual revolution. Absolutely.
Oh, so they're doing a same concept with glass as table tipping. I haven't
Ooh.
done that, but I mean, I know it would work because we were table tipping last night.
Yeah, I bet y'all love using that.
Would it?
And
Sorry. Getting back to the
Go ahead.
glass thing, would it be you have a bunch of people around the table and you just lightly touch one person has one finger lightly touching the glass and they're going to see if they can move it with their will? That I have heard of. I don't know if that's what Andrea's talking about.
That's a
Yeah,
good
I'm really
point.
curious about because that would be something my team would be all right. Let's try it.
Let's try it. Yeah, Alfred said they did it over at the Hoover House.
Yep.
So table tipping, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kev Jobson says, "Do you mean fingertips on the glass on table, using it like a Ouija board type thing?"
Yes,
Maybe
yeah.
that's
That's what I was
okay.
thinking. That's it. That's what. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I told my wife I call my feeling energy abilities my spider senses.
So do I,
Okay, it's
Peter.
funny
So do
you
I.
say that,
Yeah.
Peter. You know what? Majority of my team, and definitely Sarah knows, because when I start going, and this is old school Gen X stuff coming out at you, but when I go, my team and I are like, he's picking on something. He's picking something up. Y'all remember Caddyshack?
Mhm.
When he
Yes.
was
Yes. Yes.
teaching that,
Yes. Yeah.
that's my
what
thing. So
funny.
yeah. Okay, what Kat explained, it works well if you trust those sitting with you. And trust is a
Definitely.
big,
Yeah. Because if
yeah,
you don't trust, you're not letting your energy flow. You
Yep.
just,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to be in that circle. And plus, here, think about. I'm coming to you, Keith. Hold on just a second, because this is another valid point you two just made. If you're with a group and your vibration's not jiving, think about that. Are you going to get the same results as that group of 4 or 5 that jive on that same energy and have that great power? I guarantee you're going to have much better results. And anything.
And not just the people that are doing the table tipping. We have found that, because a lot of times it's in a public investigation, we'll do it on our own, but also in a public. If the other people are just sitting there, just like watching us, it's almost guaranteed it's not going to move much. But if they're like, come on, talking the spirit up, like, we know you can do this, getting there, but like cheering it on, it happens almost every time.
Right. Okay. So here we are. There is an example of pushing energy. They're pushing that energy into that group or circle.
Yep.
And then they're going to force in. Now, it's science, but this is how it, a lot of this works. And I love the fact that, we're able to discuss this right now. I love this.
So do I.
Me too.
Keith, I'll push my thumb into a beer bottle one night, still have the bottle. That's a transformation of materialistic transition. Absolutely. Kevin, Gen X spider senses. No. I was trying to do the generation thing, but it came out. So
funny.
Here's the thing that I want to say, because it's 7:56. Now, I said 7:56. However, there's something special that Susan found out about this network. We have no longer time restrictions. We're not on a time frame. We don't have to have a specific time to get off or get on anymore. We are free-willed, and all 24 hours a day, if we want, we can go live.
Letting it all hang out, baby.
Except for had a vision of a man. Nope. Nope. Pair orgy going on.
Oh my.
Pair ball hanging out there in the shorts and stuff, anyway. But it is up to you guys. If y'all would like to continue this, we can continue this conversation. Or Kat, if you have some restrictions, we can set up for you to come back. It is open for you guys. We can do whatever we want tonight. And from here on,
I'm good for a little bit more if you guys are.
Yeah, I can go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I tell you what.
I want to say I love the chat too. Like everyone, like such intelligent questions and comments. Like amazing chat.
Love it. This
Our
chat
is
on
always good.
fire.
Our chat's always good, and it's very good because there's like no judgment there. I love it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why I love what we have created here. And just like, props, UPRN, there, you guys try to stay on top of it too. Not everybody does it the same. And that's why I have special things set as precautions in case a troll does come through. We handle it our way. But it looks like it's spread over to your network. So, Michelle, I've got some flushing sounds for you if you want to use them on your board.
Yeah, I recently started to use because it's funny. Before I joined the network, it was pre-recorded like it is now, but it wasn't video. It was just audio. And at the end of the show, I had the the views and opinions, yada yada yada. But now that I'm with the network, it's video for YouTube. The audio parts, I still play that, but I don't play that on my video. And I recently, there was shenanigans. I'm not going to go into it, but now I use the views and opinions things in the beginning of my show for the video. So just to cover my paranormal butt.
You got to cover your ass in what we do. You got to. That's getting into the podcasting and the entertainment side of what we do. You've got to protect yourself. Not only that, you've got to know your bylaws and your laws. What can you say on platforms? Can you say, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to give the whole streamline, but I'm like, nah. But there are things you can't say. You can't say the DID, and you can't say the C word, and you can't say anti. And you know, there are things you just can't say, and because you will lose monitoration, and you won't get put out there. It all depends on how you word what you're saying, how you come across to the folks, and are you disrespectful to folks? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about the respect factor. And I think all the networks right now are trying really hard to be respectful. And like I said, not everybody does it the same. They really don't. There's not a lot of shows that focus on chat because it's all on the interview. Where
But chat's important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it wasn't for listeners and viewers, we'd just be talking to ourselves. So we have to acknowledge the chat. I mean, they bring more. They just bring more to the interviews.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete says my network told me I can go live as long as no other shows have a time slot, and that's usually how we are. Now we've dedicated and set it up, Pete, to we have to have Susan, which is the program director, because we're not having overlapping. We're paying attention. We want the public to get their show, and we don't want other shows to be stepped on. That's why we've also asked the host and hostesses, please don't post any live shows if we have a live show going on. Please, it's respectful to your family. You know, that's just how it is. Uh-oh. What is Robert saying? Shout out to Rob G. Oh, Rob G over at the other network. Yeah, boy. Coast Family Awesome Show, Jay from Pennsylvania. Move on. That's right. Shouting out to our West Coast. Yo, West Coast. Shouting out to them. Love me some Rob G and his crew. Great, great, great people. Pete says, very true. So, you know, talking about the podcast, getting into podcasting has, I think, helped us in thinking deeper than we probably could have, because we have to express our thoughts. We have to bring it to the public and give them the ability to express their opinion. And maybe, just maybe, we're not right. Lord forbid, Jesus crawled up a Sunday, but no, I didn't say it. However, dare we say we're wrong. So, you know, it's allowing people expression on another level, and being able to talk with you guys on your metaphysical side and on the paranormal side. All of this brings a little bit of a core to our IKEA puzzle. We're able to help put this little puzzle piece of this 1,500, 15,000, 15 million piece painting together. You know?
Yeah.
Ash said it's a great way to meet people, to learn. Oh,
yeah.
You know, podcasting really is. So is the paranormal itself. So is metaphysical. Look at these spirit. Rhonda, how many people have you met at Spirit Fires?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've made some of the best friends that I would have never met if I didn't go to like conventions or spirit fairs or podcasting. I'd have never met you, Kat.
This is true, yeah.
Right.
We don't have a lot of paracons up here in Canada, but we do have like metaphysical conventions or shows, and you know, little things like that, which I'm hoping will lead into bigger paracons, cryptozoology, you know, things like that. Because I would love to be able to go down to the States and go to all these cons. Oh my God, I could meet so many people, but we just don't have all that up here.
Okay.
Yet.
Let's get serious for a second. We've broke the hour, and fuck it, we're going there. Dun, dun, dun. That's right. Howie just did it. Can you believe it? He just freaking did it. I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I'm going to ask the chat. Let me read this before I go any further.
Mhm.
That's how me and Ed met. Exactly, Pete. He was contributing to an interview. Exactly. Exactly right. Now I'm going to get a little serious about the paranormal real quick, Pete. And, I don't often use heavy words, but I do use them. Hence why we have, I said I do. That's why we have the disclaimer.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your brother.
Uh-oh. Frog Brother dropped it.
I don't think it came out the way he typed it.
Hey, don't forget about the Cryptio family Bigfoot PP.
I think he meant peeps.
I think so too, but I saw that and it's like, okay.
I love you, bro. I love you so much.
Well, maybe that's what he did mean. That it could be a whole new research field.
Knowing Robert, it is a possibility. Talking about spur of the moment, anything will come out. That man will do it. And look, he even get Alfred going. So, I was trying to get serious. Way to go, Kenny. Thank you so much.
Oh.
All right, hold on. That was good, dude.
Cheeks hurt.
Jesus Christ walked into a bar. Hey, here's a good one. What do you call an old snowman?
Oh God, I don't know.
Glass of water. But
Bad jokes.
Oh, jeepers. I love it.
Did it good. All right, so let me ask you all this. If you're in the entertainment industry, as we are, okay, maybe you've been on TV. Maybe you've been on movies or done a couple of things, and something is said, and I'm going to say the comment, and I want to get your guys' opinions and everybody in chat, your opinion on this. This is, and I quote this right now. I'm not going to pay for some place to go in. Everybody knows who I am. I'm not going to go to some place I need to pay for, unquote.
I don't think that's right.
I saw that and I lost my shit because this person is highly profiled in the paranormal world.
Oh,
And you would think that this comment would never come out in public. However, it was made in public. And I'm going, I don't care who I am. I don't care who you are. Nobody is good enough not to pay for an event.
Yeah, because most events are, I mean, not all, but a good number of events are there to support a location.
Thank
Or
you.
preserve history or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking away from someone else by not doing that.
Thank you. Well said. Perfectly said, you guys. Good. That place doesn't want you to come. Bam. Egomaniac. Owls in the house. She says, that's what I would say.
I don't know. I treat people like pretty much everybody the same way. I don't care if they're rich or poor. They're still people until they give me a reason not to be respectful to them. Then it's just like, okay, nice to meet you. Moving on to someone else. It's just, I don't know. That really upsets me when people feel that their poop don't stink.
Right, it resonates very negative energy.
Yeah.
Andrea, people forget that these haunted locations often don't get a lot of funding.
Yep.
So yes, they absolutely should pay for the opportunity. It helps preserve the location generally. Yes. Ashley puts in, yes, these locations cost money to preserve. Okay. Now, why, if that is the case, should a promoter, I'm pulling my energy back. Why should these promoters be paying for people, these celebrities, to come to their event? And these celebrities want so much to be there. Okay. Shouldn't these profits be going to that event or that location and not to the individual? Now, that's probably why I have my problem. That's my thought. My underwear is the same underwear, and my pants are the same pants as everybody else. Well,
Yeah.
So we haven't run into that a lot. Like, actually, a lot of the Paracons I've been, the bigger names that come, they don't get paid a whole lot. Mostly just enough to cover their travel, which is understandable.
mhm.
And at the last event I was at in Massachusetts, there was the flooding in North Carolina, and several of the speakers there donated what they were going to be paid to
Nice.
the victims in North Carolina. So I
Wow.
haven't seen, I take that back. I have heard of a couple. Not only do they charge a lot to go to the events, some charge a lot to be at the event, but then they charge a lot, like, because people pay to go in these events. Usually there's a price, but then if you want a signed autograph and to go through and talk to them, you have to pay more.
Mhm.
I've seen that, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but a lot of I've
I don't
actually
either.
kind of found the opposite, where they're more than willing to. They take a fee, but they're also willing to give up their fee if there's a good cause.
That's right. Ryan says a lot of the locations depend on the money to exist for the first
Yeah,
place.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Exactly. Locations have bills to pay.
Yep.
And they have taxes to pay, and maybe they got to
That's
pay
true,
the historic society.
Quite a few years ago, I actually had someone send me an email wanting to be on the show, and I'd never heard of this person before. And I was going to look into them. They wanted me to pay them $1,000, and I'm like, "Thank you
To
very
be
much
on the show.
to be on my show."
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, "Thank you very much for reaching out." I said, "I don't make money off my podcast, and you're not going to make money off being on my podcast either. So, thank you very much." And I never heard from that guy again. But it's just like, what? He reached out to me.
Girlfriend, you're
Right.
not the only one.
Yeah.
You're not the only
Yeah.
one that's had that happen.
Yeah.
Trust me, it twice.
Crazy.
The first time,
You weren't so nice.
the first time was a pair of brothers who tried to pull that shit with me, and I went, away from you. I ain't got time for you. Another time, Bill Freeman used to use this to get at me all the time. There is, because he's still alive, a little short medium that runs around on TV and all that, contacted me in 2018 through email and wanted to be on the show. And he said his cost is only $1,200. And I'm like, I didn't even acknowledge. I deleted. I was like, how dare you? How fucking dare you to assume that someone would actually do that, which means you're a crook, and B, you think you are that much that someone would pay you to be on their show? No, folks, sorry. I like what Ryan said. I got bills to pay. I don't need you on this show. Not like that. Andrea says, of course, these needs to be fairness, but the venues definitely need to be fairly considered. I have found what I have been involved in. Some locations got nothing, but the celebrities walked away with a pocket full. Thank you. Confirmation in the ass right there. Al said the last event I did, I donated my fee to the location. Oh, rock on, brother. That's what I am talking about.
The Squatch Father himself.
That's right. Rob says, well, a very high-profile actor bummed us out of $200 because he left early. I wasn't going to go there, dude, but that's true. I remember that situation you're talking about, too. Son of a bitch. All right, sorry. Calm. All right, Pete. Now I was told my podcast offer a media pass to some guests. Hmm. I don't know, you guys. What do you think about that?
What do they mean by that?
I was told some podcasts offer a media pass to some guests. I don't know what that means either.
Okay. We go to an event and we are media. So we get our media pass.
Right. Mhm.
Right.
And they can bring people in underneath that pass. That's kind of jipping out the promoter. I'm not for it. I'm not for it. I don't think if your table is set for 4 people, you have 4 people come in and everybody else has to pay. In fact, majority of the time, I don't go in as media. I'll either go or be a part of it, but I'm not going to just sneak in because look, I'm a media pass. Have we used the media before in the past? Yes, because we covered on-site reporter was at that event and it was on site and she got a media pass because she was getting and delivering. That's the only time. That's the only time. Andrea said, I think there's also a bit of difference between when the celebrities reach out to the venue is in instigating the event. Is that right? Instigating the event. But it still needs to be fair for all. I'll go with that. Pete, from what I was told, it was the uncut video of the interview and then a few highlight clips of the interview. Oh, good Lord. Oh, God. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get y'all's insight about that, how y'all felt about it tonight. Kat, we want you to come back, hang out with us. We love.
Definitely. I'd love to.
Rock on. Get the whole families together. That would be great.
Yep.
Now let's get you out there, girlfriend. Your show. When, where, how they find it, where can they find you, where are you at? What?
So it's every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can find it on UPRN, United Public Radio Network. I'm on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify. I'm pretty much wherever you find any podcast. And if somebody wants to be on the show, or if they have something they want to talk about, or they have suggestions for guests or topics, paranormalheart13@gmail.com.
Bam! Oh, I love this new platform. I do. Pete says, great show. Well, thank you, Pete. We appreciate you being here. Al, great show. Great guest. Good night, folks. Yeah.
À la prochaine, Al.
Oh, exploring. Look, he switched over. Rock on. I had one invoice me in addition.
Doing a bit for me. Oh my goodness.
Hell to the fuck no. Good God, dude.
Goodness gracious.
We had
Oh,
350
that's
people that
terrible.
read. God Lord, no. I am not. That's what I'm
terrible.
talking about. Andrea says, great show. Thank you. Absolutely. We thank you all for being here and hanging out with us tonight, travelers and those alike. Kat, it's always a pleasure, and I'm glad we got you on, and I look forward to hanging with you and Rhonda again. This
Yes.
is going to be a great year. It's
I'll have to
really
have
great.
you two on too.
Oh, I've been there. It's time for her.
Yeah.
Love to.
We'll talk.
Hang tough. Thank you, Cav.
Thank you all for joining. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm
There's
telling you
so
what,
many.
an hour and 15 went like, phew.
I know. I just feel like we just started. It's like, holy Hannah.
We talked about it. You know, this show used to be 2 hours long, and at times it would go too long.
Yeah.
Just because of certain guests we would have, we're like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? You know. But when we cut it down to an hour, I like the response that Susan found about we can now go 2 hours if we want without, there's no issue to the network or anything. Just we should let our guests know, like, if you want to go 2 hours, let us know.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
In the future, we just found this out, so we didn't say anything to you.
Ah,
That's why we're like, you want to go 2
Yeah,
hours?
this was figured out last weekend
Yeah, literally. And it's,
after some technical difficulties.
yeah, literally.
oh, yeah, oh, you and I, Ed, know about the
Oh, I know, right? I'm surprised
Oh.
nothing happened. Girl,
Oh.
Rhonda, before we go ahead, Kat, tell them what happened with my interview. Holy
my
shit
God.
balls.
We'd start the interview, and then the internet would cut. Both his side and my side, we would freeze, but
Yeah.
both our connections said it was strong internet connection, and we're like, how? So I think it took us 3 tries to get you on the show, and finally, holy Hannah.
Kevin says 2 hours. Yes. Oh, don't worry. We got you covered. It's true. It was crazy. It was just the energy, that
Yeah.
connection. Holy mother.
I just don't get it where it said both on our sides that strong internet connection. Nah, not over here.
You're good. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, good grief.
So, Kat, what's going on over the UPRN? Let's get some props for our family over there. And hellos.
No. Yeah, when I first started my podcast 7 years ago, I was doing once a month. It was the last Sunday of every month. And then I went the second Sunday and last Sunday of every month. And Michelle DeRoche had asked if I wanted to be on. And I'm like, well, I just love that lady.
Yeah.
She asked if I wanted to be part of the network. And I'm like, well, I can't because it has to be live at the time.
Yeah.
My work, I just couldn't just say that I couldn't ask my boss to give me one day off a week on a specific day. I work front desk at a hotel.
Okay.
It can be busy. So then finally she reached out again and said, hey, now we're doing pre-records. You want to be on? I'm like, yeah, sure. And my first one, I actually had my first episode on the network. I had Al Santariga, and it was supposed to be pre-recorded, but because it was Tuesday night, I had this. My car broke down in town. I wasn't going to make it in time for the recording. It was just like a lot of shit going on that day. And then Michelle's like, well, if you and Al can do live, do you want to do live? And I'm just like, oh my God, I've never done live. I'm like, sure, let's do it. So my first episode with the network was live with Al. And I've been meeting a lot of great guests. Some of them are longtime friends. Some of them I've just met through other people. And it's just, I have so many interesting guests. At least I find they are. But yeah, it's a great network.
It really is. Joe is definitely. It is actually now. We also have to say that now. It is actually the oldest running network in the community too. So make sure we get that props up there because he deserves it. He's worked his butt off to keep that and going. And now Michelle's got the same thing. As I'll flash it right up there.
Yep.
Check it out, United Public Radio Network, which is now the Paranormal Network. But check it out. You can find it on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, we need to talk about YouTube real quick. Where can people find y'all on YouTube right now? Because I know it's changed a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Just look for Paranormal Heart Podcast, and it'll bring you right there.
Okay. What about the UPRN?
So, Michelle sets that part up. So the UPRN, I still don't fully understand, and I keep asking her, and she keeps, if I understand correctly, it's an actual radio station that's listened globally. Yeah, so it's a global station. So I am so fortunate that I get tens of thousands of people listening to my episode on UPRN. I've never had that. It's just like, it's amazing how many people I'm able to reach. So thank you, UPRN. And I've mentioned a couple times on the show that maybe they should bring hosts over to New Orleans because it's on my bucket list. And we could have like a UPRN family party. Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. You never know.
Now, when it comes to YouTube, you cannot look for, at the moment, right now, UPRN. Go to the Facebook page and you will see the directory. There's still some connecting issues and some things going on with that I'm privileged to know. I think it's Mystic and Monsters and More or something to that effect. Don't
Okay.
quote me on it. But if you go to UPRN, United Paranormal Network on YouTube, it will take you to that link. So making sure everybody knows about that as well. Get y'all caught up. Yeah, New Orleans is great. Amen, brother. I want to get there myself. Good
Yep.
Lord.
Yep.
So, Kat, I want to thank you so much once again for taking your time hanging out with
So
me.
much.
She's right. This is one of those shows that it could go all night long.
It could, because
No.
because Kat just said, "Hey, I work for a desk at a hotel." And my first thought was like, "Ooh, have you had experiences there?" A
Yeah,
hotel?
right. We got more to
I'm like,
talk
we can
about.
go down that whole rabbit hole.
I can't really say anything.
Sweet.
We'll
We'll
talk.
have to talk about the experiences that you've had.
Well, I was actually working today.
Allegedly.
I was working today, and we had hockey. It was hockey weekend for kids, right? And it gets really busy. And we had a crazy snowstorm that started yesterday, and it's still snowing. And my boss, I am so fortunate that he supports the show, and I have pamphlets next to the front desk, business cards and stickers, and I have such a great artist who did my caricature, and people can definitely tell it's me. And I had this one kid go, "Cool, is this you?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like, "What's your show about?" So I said, "Oh, it's paranormal." So I talk about ghosts and Bigfoot and UFOs and stuff like that. And him and his mother, and they're just like, "Oh, that's really cool." So they grabbed some pamphlets. So it's just like, I'm so thankful for my GM to be able to help support. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is awesome when you get that support like that. It really is.
Yeah.
Matt, again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me on. Hopefully you'll have Rhonda. We want you to come back.
Definitely.
We want you to come back to the show.
Would love to.
Absolutely. Travelers and those like, maybe we got some new ones. Come check us out every Sunday right here on the RNN, the Rift Nation Network. Yeah, I know. I had to. It just was there. 7 p.m. Every other Sunday, you're going to see G3. And then once Sunday a month, you're going to get your music for an hour plus. That'll be returning next month. So, all the music you want, get your paranormal on all Sunday long. That's what we want. Check out Keith Ottersberg on Mondays on the Otter's Den, the place, the person, the thing. Check out Tuesdays with her and Ryan C. Jones over at the freaking awesome Paranormal Show. Also, one of the longest running paranormal podcasts in the community today.
Nice.
Check out Joni Templeton Skinner on Wednesdays with True Crimes Mystery Behind the Scenes. Come check out the new format with Susan and her 2-hour-long show on Thursdays. And then prepare for the journey on Friday. There's going to be uncharted places to go and new realms to experience starting at the end of February. And other than that, check out Paranormal Outlaws once a month as well. Also, Wednesday, don't miss. Get your 11 o'clock a.m. on and get your up-to-date sci-fi, paranormal, spiritual, science news with Ryan and I on what's going down. Travelers and those like, we appreciate you. We thank you again for spending your evening with us. As always, continue to help each other. Help someone, help somebody else now. Let's pay it forward. Virtue be yours.
Be good humans this week.
Yes.
You heard
Much
it.
love to everyone.